Would everybody please stand, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. First item on the agenda is approval of the minutes as presented in our backup materials, and as in compliance with Robert's Rules of Order, I'd ask for a motion and a second, and then the item will be up for discussion. So is there a motion regarding the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
For discussion purposes, I'll second that motion. So now it has been moved and seconded. The minutes are before us. And I just like to ask, because on August 1st at 4:59 p.m., the council received a set of minutes, and I'd like to direct everybody's attention to item number 8 specifically, and that's what was distributed. And for whatever reason, today, at 11:29 a.m., a new packet was redistributed to council members, and I direct everybody's attention to item number 8. And so I have a series of questions before I can vote on these minutes. Yvonne, who prepared the original set of minutes that were sent out on August the 1st?
Susie did.
Okay. And Susie prepares the minutes for the council, is that correct? Okay, and why were there changes that were sent out today? Where did those come from?
Susie received a request to add more detail to that section.
Okay, and who was that request made by? And Susie? Okay, so here's a problem that I have. The person who makes the minutes for the town council meeting does their job and prepares them and sends them out. Right now, when we have a motion and a second, this is where proposed changes to the minutes should be discussed, and we as a council agree upon whether changes should be made. The changes that were made at the request of a single council member change the original minutes that were very neutral to something that now has quotes, statements, opinions, and most importantly, a statement that is 100% inaccurate. Because in Angie's edits, it says that I own, me personally, that I own the real estate, and I'm on line 12 of these unauthorized edits, starting on line 11, says he stated he just because the apartments may go across the street from the apartment he owns. I don't own any property across the street from the apartments. So that statement is 100% false. I don't know if it's intentionally made to create a conflict of interest that doesn't exist. I don't know why it was made. But what I do know is that one council member contacted staff and rewrote the minutes in a manner that she wanted instead of doing it at a public meeting. And I just want to know why.
I didn't rewrite this. I sent a request to Susie, and what I said to her was, it was council comments, and when I made my council comments, I said I would like it noted on record. So when the minutes came out and we got our packets on Tuesday, I looked through the packet, and it was a clip note, or a clip note version of
Which is what the minutes are.
I am talking. I was quiet while you did yours, and you will let me speak according to Robert's rules. So when I saw the clip note version, I said to Susie, I said I was making a comment for the record. Will you please go back and listen and put more detail into that statement. She said she would. She went back and listened to the audio recording of it, and that's what she put in there. I did not write anything to her. I didn't tell her to add this into it. The only thing she took from that was what was on the audio from the meeting.
Okay, so I want to make it very clear that my motion to approve the minutes is to, well, I want the council to approve the minutes that were distributed August 1st at 4:59 PM. That's what we should be considering this evening. And if any council member wants to make edits, now's the time, not individually. This isn't what any one person wants. And the purpose of minutes isn't to continue disputes or put in quotes and to say that I own real estate that I don't own. Again, that statement is absolutely incorrect. Somewhere else in this revised section, it accurately states that there's real estate that is owned by my employer. That's an accurate statement. But, I don't appreciate anybody editing the minutes outside of a public forum. I mean, this right here, when we approve the minutes, if anybody has a question, a comment, or a change, I would request moving forward that it be done here, which is when it should be done. It's not proper to say, I don't like what's in there, change it. And, fortunately, after 11:29 a.m., I did have the opportunity to read it and compare the two and saw that it was completely different. It goes from 8 lines to half a page, and I just don't think that's proper. So, again, I think that we should be approving the minutes that were sent August 1st at 4:59 p.m., and if anybody wants to edit those minutes, now would be the time to discuss that.
Are we discussing it now?
Now would be the time.
Susie, did I send you any documentation that said to add this to the minutes?
You just told me you wanted everything that was on the recording.
So when you typed up these minutes, did you listen off of the recording, or did you go off a statement I gave you?
The recording.
Thank you.
Well, then, I guess we need to clarify, which minutes is it that we want to approve this evening? Now, I'll open that up to discussion.
Well, then I'll have to have the question, where did the statement come from where it said that you own property? Because if that wasn't in the,
I don't
if
know.
that's not in the minutes and that wasn't in the recording, where'd that come from?
And if it,
So that's my question.
it's 100% inaccurate, no matter where it came from, which, if these minutes would have been circulated on August 1st, I would have this evening said, hey, on line 12, it says that I own property, and that should be changed to property owned by my employer. That's an accurate statement. But what I'm having an issue with is the minutes were sent out, distributed, and then changes were made at the request of one person, as opposed to this is the opportunity to make changes.
I asked her to re-listen to the recording and put more detail into that.
And that
It's
is something that should be done
It is something
here.
that she did the minutes. She sent out a packet yesterday. I read through. I said there needs to be more put into the council comment minutes. I didn't tell her what to put in there. She re-listened, and that's what she typed up. It was nothing that I told her to put in there. It was all from the audio.
And that's fine. What I'm saying is that shouldn't happen going forward. If you don't like the minutes that Susie prepares the minutes. She circulates them. And then we review them, and if we have edits, they're done in public. For instance, if we go with this second set of minutes with more detail, that's fine, but line 12 absolutely has to be changed from property he owns to property owned by his employer.
So go
Be-
through and make the
Because
changes.
that is, well, again, I'm not unilaterally gonna do that and direct Susie to make changes. That's not the proper process.
You're making your point, and you went overboard on making your point. So go through what you would like to see changed.
I would
and
like to
make
go
the
back to
changes.
August 1st minutes. That's what those are the changes. Go back to what was originally prepared by Susie and distributed. And that's what I'd like us to vote on, and then we'll even see if we need to go to a different set.
Well, I'm gonna scoot back up here, and then let me kind of have like maybe a different proposal. So, trying to be neutral here, in the past, if the minutes had been sent to me in advance and I see a glaring spelling error or something that I believe that, was maybe completely omitted, I may have said, hey, just to bring your attention in this area, this word is not spelled right or whatever, and to fine tune it before the meeting. And so with all that being said, yes, official changes or, big changes or whatever, but I think, in the past, maybe a spelling error or something, if we catch that before the meeting, that's straightened out. So with that being said, I'm of the opinion, if we're going to talk about amending the minutes, making corrections, then we should look at the latest minutes that we received and then just clarify what edits so that they're portrayed properly need to be done, instead of going back to version August 1st. What we did have more detail. I'm making no judgment on that, but let's just fix what the latest version we have and move on.
And I would say if somebody finds a typographical error, something along those lines, that absolutely makes sense and you don't have to wait. But to go from 8 lines to 23 because somebody wants more detail or commentary, that type of editing needs to be done at a public meeting.
Okay, so to me, we're at a public meeting right now, so does anybody have any problem if we just adopt these and edit line 12 and be like, to the property his employer owns, and then we can move on, and
If
that would be, if
That's what I
that would
believe.
solve the problem. then
So
let's
is
do
that already changed on it?
no, it is
No.
not.
No.
Because it came out today at 11:29, and I didn't have time to call Susie and try to get my version in.
So if we can edit.
Well, this one
proper
says,
version.
this one says somewhere the property that his employer owns.
Well, go down to line 12, and it says, apartments may go across the
okay.
street from property he owns. And I want the record to be very clear, I don't own the property across the street from the apartments.
Can you make that change, Susie? Thank you.
There we go.
So if you make that correction, but moving forward, I would recommend that council members not request edits, unless if it's a typographical error, perfectly fine. But to go from 8 lines to 23 because you personally want more, anybody personally wants more commentary, that's not proper. Susie prepares the minutes, and they are supposed to be a cliff note and not a line by line and to continue disputes and what, although I like the additional information because it makes it very clear in my reading, I don't have a conflict of interest, so maybe that extra might even help me, but I'm troubled by the process. So I would request council members refrain. If you have edits that are substantive, wait until the meeting, let's talk about them. If there's a typo or something that's a technical correction, all 5 of us can call Susie. I mean, that's perfectly fine. And so, if you change on line 12 to property owned by his employer, I'm fine with it. But that absolutely has to be fixed. Any other comments regarding the minutes?
Yeah, I've got a change that needs to be made. I think it says Bill Niemeyer stated that the redevelopment commission agreed to accept $50,000 per year. Now, this insinuates that we agreed to accept $50,000 a year from the new apartment development, when actually you were talking about the wellness center.
Absolutely correct.
And that was the thing I noticed about the minutes, that needed to be changed.
Where is that in the minutes, Clint?
Huh?
Which section number?
It's number 7.
Yeah, that's the next.
You go on down to where Dale Wagner TIF bond issue.
So, with that, so,
And then at the bottom, it says, Bill Niemeyer stated that the redevelopment commission agreed to accept $50,000 per year. And it
from
is-
the wellness project.
That's right. It should say from the wellness center, or
Absolutely.
something to that effect.
How about from the wellness center property, or project?
Yes.
Wellness center project, I think is accurate. And that's a great catch, because that is, and that's what this point on the agenda is exactly for, is I would not have wanted you to call Susie and tell her to change that. But now is the time when we discuss where things should be fixed. And thank you, Clint. Susie, can you make that change? Any other comments or suggested edits to the minutes? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as amended here this evening, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. New agenda items. Does anyone have any new agenda items? I have one new agenda item. Earlier today, our plan commission came to a deadlock because one member had to abstain and 2 members weren't present. One of the persons who wasn't present today, I don't remember the exact date that Mike Jackson was appointed, but Mike Jackson was appointed months ago and attended one meeting and hasn't been here since then. I've also looked at the composition of the Plan Commission, and Mike Jackson was appointed by the town executive, which was me. So at this point in time, I am going to remove Mike Jackson from the Plan Commission just for lack of interest and not attending a sufficient amount of the meetings, and I'm going to appoint myself in his place. So that's, I'm just stating that for public record. No vote is necessary, but I put that on new agenda items. Any other new agenda items?
Bill, just a point of order, we have to mail notice for the statute to Mr. Jackson before his removal, so we'll have to mail 30-day notice. I can discuss the other procedures
Okay,
to
then
make that.
let's start that process immediately. Now, can he appear and waive that, or is that something we just have to go through the statutory process? And if that's the case, notice wasn't given when I stepped down and Brandy took my position, so if that action wasn't proper statutorily, then we can reverse that action.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of walk through. The town has enacted an ordinance that has some criteria for the Plan Commission, but then the statute has additional criteria for the Plan Commission. And so I'd like to sit down and maybe with you and kind of walk you through where that goes. I can start here, but I think it'd probably be better if we did it offline.
Okay, but I mean, just if Brandy the process wasn't properly constituted, then I would take Brandy's position on the Plan Commission if that process wasn't proper, because that was a position that I had held previously. So, and we'll confirm. Moving on to old business. The first item, I believe, needs to be tabled because the Plan Commission did not approve the resolution. So I would make a motion that that item be tabled to the August 17th meeting. Is there a second?
So what is this one for? Is this for the resolution? to
This is,
approve?
yeah, and, you know, the Plan Commission has a meeting scheduled for the 17th,
Okay.
and, you know, whether there was a question on what was being voted, there's time for some clarification. There's also the opportunity to avoid the Plan Commission being sued by the developer. You know, that item will come back August 17th. We don't know who's going to attend, and I'll confirm with Doug between now and then regarding the composition of the Plan Commission. And if we have an odd number, then we won't have a tie.
I have a question, Doug.
Yes.
So in regards to this resolution approving the order from the Planning Commission, since it didn't get approved by the Planning Commission, so it died on the floor with the Planning Commission. So it's still brought to the council position, so we are offering to table that, but how can we table it if it wasn't even passed through the Planning Commission to be brought up to the council? How does that work?
You're just not voting on it, so it hasn't, what was supposed to be voted on was the recommendation or the approval from the Plan Commission. So you're not gonna vote on that today because no recommendation was
There wasn't
sent
anything.
through from the Plan Commission.
Okay.
So you're just moving the agenda item out, and if it doesn't go through the Plan Commission the next time, then you would take an offer and move it out again.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a motion to table that till the next meeting.
Is there a second?
I second that.
All those in favor, please, oh wait, is there any discussion regarding the motion? All those in favor of tabling that item to the August 17th meeting, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that'll be back on the agenda for August 17th. The next item is a task order from Commonwealth, and Jim, can you tell us what that's about?
Well, better yet, I got Al here. He's going to tell you where he's at with this. So,
Come on, please.
All right. If you recall at the last meeting, we talked about the planning document for the wastewater utility, and I indicated the next steps were to move forward with flow metering. So we put together a task order. The task order incorporates flow metering in your system, and then generating the sanitary sewer model, and then performing the analyses that are associated with that model. Answer any other questions on the task order if you like.
So what is it that the task order, I mean, what are we being requested to take action on this evening?
We're asking you to authorize services associated with us putting in flow meters into the sanitary sewer system, gathering the data, assembling the hydraulic model, and performing the model analyses on alternative solutions. So this is essentially the first step in the design process.
How long do you leave the flow meter? I mean, how long does that process take? Do you just wait for the heavy rains, or how does that work?
In the contract, it's for 60 days. So
Okay.
we put them in and we cross our fingers that we get heavy rainfall in the 60-day time. That's why we shoot for these rainy seasons. If we get the rainfall that we need sooner, we'll pull them out and we won't charge the additional funds. If we don't get the rainfall that we need, then you'll see me back here with my tail between my legs asking me for another 30 days.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. Just related since you're here. Did any of the other council members email you about a question or concern from a citizen in Greenfield that has some familiarity, I guess, with solar power or solar devices being at sewer plants and their, I guess, propensity to go bad or quicker and
It doesn't ring a bell.
it doesn't? Okay. Do
I
you,
think maybe only we got it.
Wrong engineering firm.
did you read that?
Well,
I was just curious because I know nothing about it, and so I felt
Yeah.
it
like
was an
maybe I should
individual
acknowledge.
who was saying, be
Yeah.
careful what you do because the panels go bad like a battery. They wear out.
Yeah.
And then I think what I drew from that, their biggest concern was there's only 2 places in the entire country that you can properly dispose of a solar panel.
Right.
And therefore, you think you're saving all this money on energy, but then come the death of a panel, and you have to properly dispose of it, there go your savings.
Right. That they won't last more than 15 years. They'll irreparably poison the soil.
You can't get rid of them.
Right. And so I know nothing about this, so I just thought it was fair to.
Just from my institutional knowledge, I know there are firms that we've worked with who do this, and they do, I guess, encourage people to put solar panels in areas that can't be used for anything else, which is inclusive of wastewater treatment plants.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I can direct you to those individuals if
Oh,
you have questions.
And you know, Brandy, something just to consider. The next time solar panels come up, and, you know, there was one company that had this guaranteed energy savings. I don't know that disposing of the panels was inside their plan. So, you know, maybe
We can require it.
we make it a
Yeah.
condition that if we're
There you
going,
go.
and that takes care of a lot of those
Right.
concerns then.
Right.
But, you know, just something for us to think about.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting. Like, I'd never heard that before. Thought, well, while you're
I
here.
would have thought of either.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Do we have a motion regarding Commonwealth's task order as presented in our backup materials and as discussed this evening?
I motion we approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any comments or discussion regarding the matter? All those in favor of approving the task order as presented, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda, under old business numbered 4.2, there are two resolutions, and I'll make a motion that both of those resolutions be tabled to the August 17th meeting. In theory, we probably could consider the one from, well, no, we can't, because it went from redevelopment commission to the plan commission and it didn't go on. So I'll make a motion that both of those.
It's not two resolutions, it's one resolution that was too big to attach as one item.
Okay,
So
'cause I
it's
see-
one resolution, it's part one or two.
One of them has a letter B.
I just saw
Okay.
that. just-
Okay, I thought
Sorry.
with,
Yeah.
with, and without a B, I thought those were separate. So, okay,
It's
You
one
can
of
vote
two, two of two, yes.
okay, thank you. So I'll make a motion that we table resolution 080322B, which will be renumbered, and have it back on the agenda for August 17th meeting.
Second that.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of tabling that resolution to the August 17th meeting, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item, under the heading of new business, is consideration of the Plan Commission's unanimous recommendation that we rezone parcel numbers 30-10-30-200-009.000-013 and 30-10-30-200-010.000-013, having addresses of 5861 West US 52 and 5847 West US 52, from the current zoning status of R2 to the new zoning classification of B2. Whew, that's what we're considering. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion to approve that.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion or comments regarding this item?
So what this basically does, moves it from residential to business? Is that
Yes.
what I'm gathering?
And what the Plan Commission did only was change or make a recommendation to the council to formally adopt and change the zoning from residential to business. They still have to come in and submit, you know, their plans to Jim for any, if it's approved, for whatever proposed business, whatever development. And at that point, if they needed any variances, if they didn't meet all of our development criteria, then they would have to come back for variances. But that's all we're doing this evening. is formally changing the zoning from R2 to B2 for future development.
So this includes the house that's still there and the house that they tore down?
Yes, and as I understood the presentation, the house that is still there won't be there for long, it just hasn't come down yet. Because there's gonna be some kind of a
Yeah,
development.
yeah, to get a couple acres there, they're gonna have to tear that down,
Any other questions or comments? Clint?
yeah. I'm good.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure I didn't just move on.
Yeah, I just wanted to see what,
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
I,
Motion carries and the property is rezoned from R2 to B2. Next item on our agenda are department reports. Even though they're in a different order on the agenda, I'm just going to go down the table. Bob, what do you have to report this evening? And welcome back.
Nothing new.
Okay. Jim, what do you have to report? If anything, you don't have to. but-
I don't have anything, but Mr. Barkley here, he's going to talk about his golf outing that he's inviting the town to.
Yeah, anybody,
Yes.
anybody wants to come.
Yes.
No, we have our golf outing on August 25th. You guys want to put together a team or however many you want to play, I'm sure we'll have extras on teams, so we'd love to have you. Not too far away, south of Greenwood at
Dice Walk.
Dice Walk Country Club. So,
Okay.
I'll get everything sent out, and if anybody's interested.
See if we can
let
get
me
at
know.
least a foursome. There might be another golfer or two in the room.
and if there's stragglers, you don't have to bring just 4. You know, if you bring 5, we'll find spots, or 6, 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll just ask everybody to check their schedules, Wade, for August 25th for a golf outing, see if,
I'm probably free, is what I'm thinking. I'm probably free, throwing it out there.
well, okay, so what I hear right now, there's 2 confirmed, because,
Yeah.
so we just need 2 more and we can have a foursome, and then if there's any, so we'll,
I'll get
Thank
it
you.
sent out.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you.
But, 'cause I
Yeah.
They did a huge advance.
okay, there you go. Steve, what would you like to, I'm sorry, Jim, did you have anything else?
Nope, good.
Okay, and thank you, and I think we'll probably have no trouble finding a foursome, and then if we can do 2 or 3 or 4, bring your golf clubs. We'll do some damage.
Out of town.
Oh, Bill, real quick, I did get a call from Lennar Homes, and they backed out of the property there around the wellness center. Or no, not the wellness center, I'm sorry, yeah, sewer plant, yes. The 60-plus acres there, Lennar Homes.
And was that the one that wanted 383?
No.
Okay,
This is the one we actually worked with in a meeting. We really thought that there were some kind of time constraints with some drainage, county getting approval, which kind of bodes against, the cost of the sewer plant, that we gotta kind of balance that as well, so.
okay, but
Regardless.
they're not moving forward, so, okay, thank you. Steve, what would you like to add this evening?
Well, the county, they are going to repave 600 West from US 52 to Steinmeier Road, and they have made the offer to, while they're doing that, do our section of the road for material only. Not going to charge any labor or anything, and they get their material at a substantially lower cost than we can get it for. So,
Do you have any guess of what the amount might be?
yeah, I called and talked to one of their engineers. He thinks it's going to be somewhere between 200 and 250 tons of surface. They're just going to resurface. Our end of that would be 11,000 to 13,750.
And that would go, the extra for that additional amount would take it from where to where?
From our corporate boundary, which would be be south, at the end of the hospital, PUD,
Okay,
up to 52.
that
It's a
sounds,
good
that
section.
that
It's a
sounds
great
like a
deal.
no-brainer.
Duh.
Well, I don't want to voice the only opinion. What other folks think, because,
I was worried you were gonna say like 100,000.
you know, if you can get it at cost and no labor, you can't beat that anywhere.
Yeah, that's how it was approached to me, and they're gonna do it this fall, so it would be a, you know,
A fall project.
guy said September, you know, so.
Well, and because that involves an expenditure, we probably need to make a motion and vote on it. Is there a motion?
Well, I'll make a motion that we partner with the county on paving from US 52 to our southern boundary at the end of the hospital property.
Second that.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That's a great idea. Please
Great
proceed.
offer.
Yeah, we've done that 2 or 3 other times.
I mean, while they're mobilized.
Right, you know, on Bittner and 300, I think we had,
Yeah, actually, the county's really been good
Yeah,
about helping us
yeah.
on projects. They
Right.
when they bring their machine to gravel shoulders, they don't stop when they come to our section of road. They just did some striping for us on Jim Road, you know, so pretty good
Okay.
relationship with that.
Well, you know, under those terms, if they want to do entire Main Street, tell them we could probably,
That's in,
well, do whatever they want to do.
yeah,
All right. Thank you, Steve.
all right.
Yvonne, Becky, Susie, all in a group? Any?
anyway.
My name is Jenny, I'm gonna let.
Jenny, Becky, Doris, any, I'm so
I'm
sorry.
gonna, no, that's okay. I'm gonna ask, I have 2 things.
Please.
One, Keystone, our software company that license our asset program, is up for not renewal, but we need to pay our yearly license fee. And I need a signature from the president. And I
How,
just wanna go
how
with
much
that.
is the license fee?
$920.
Okay, again, just so that we know
Yeah.
how much Jenny's asking to spend.
Now you remember my name, yeah.
I'm gonna go high.
Close enough.
And the second thing I have is, I think Yvonne and I are trying to plan to go, AIM is having a 2022 Idea Summit at French Lick. And I highly, highly recommend, we went last year, and it was amazing at getting great ideas for our community. And I would highly recommend that both town manager and council consider going. And it is, let's see, November 2nd through the 4th at French Lick. And if you are interested, we need to know because we need to register by August 16th. And it goes that day. So if you're interested in it, it is amazing. It has so many ideas and
And you don't have to go old age, you can pick some of the days, but we haven't seen the program yet. But it definitely is, it's a nice place to be inspired.
they have workshops that just, you know, like I think we
They
saw.
run the gamut.
Yes, we saw Rushville last year did a whole workshop on how they revitalized their downtown, and it was inspiring. I'd love to see the council there. Lots of council members are there, mayors are there, town managers, clerk treasurers. It's worth visiting.
Okay.
The big issue is that hotel rooms will sell out, I mean, I will literally be on the phone 1 minute to 9 whenever they open it up, to hope that I can get in
Get
right at
through.
9 o'clock. Basically by, 3, 4 o'clock, it will be sold out.
Okay.
So
Well,
let us know instantly.
I would encourage all council members, check your calendar, see if,
November
Second.
2nd through the 4th.
okay.
Is there a budget line item that covers this sort of expense for town to attend?
Yes, and we're gonna go over budget.
Okay,
But we do have the money to spend.
We do have the money,
Okay.
we'll.
I just needed to
we'll-
ask.
Yeah, we'll be able to do an
Yeah.
additional appropriation, but
okay,
it's worth it. Yeah?
okay.
You got the answer?
2nd through what?
The 4th.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Oh, wait, we need a motion though, because your first one was renew a membership.
Yeah, I don't know that it needs, it just
It's a
needs a
maintenance
signature.
agreement.
Yeah, it's a maintenance
Basically,
agreement.
you basically voted on it last year to buy that asset program, and then this is the continuation of that.
You know,
And
just to be on the safe side,
let's do a
why don't I
motion.
make a
I
motion
think
to
it's-
renew it?
Perfect.
So I move to renew it.
I'll second that.
Any discussion or comments? All those in favor in renewing that membership, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and please renew us. Thank you. Yvonne, do you have anything?
No.
No? Okay.
She did all the talking
Well,
tonight.
Is
Thank
there
you.
anybody in the audience named Becky that would like to make any presentation? All right, so at this time, we will open the floor up to public comment. So if there's anybody in the audience that would like to make any public comments, please come forward to the podium, give us your name and your address, and anything you'd like to share with us, now is the time.
Chris Warren, Cedar Creek Lane. I just have a question about the comprehensive plan. I know there was a meeting a while ago. I wasn't able to make that, I was out of town. And what's the next steps in that? I know, Jim, you said there's gonna be.
There'll be some
input.
dates set out.
I'm sorry.
There'll be some dates set out for public meetings, and more input.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then that'll be like on the website or,
It'll be on the website and it'll be advertised. Yes.
okay. Because I noticed that the Commonwealth report, some of the growth projections in there were a bit, one of them was a bit unusual to me. It basically showed a 7X growth in 20 years. So I don't know how we're gonna go from, I don't see any scenario where we're gonna go from 2,200 people to 14,000 people in 7 years. Or at least not in a scenario that would make sense for us. So I look forward to that. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, we'll move on to council member comments. I'll start on my left. Clint, you have anything you'd like to add this
Not
evening?
today.
Chris?
No, I'm good.
I have nothing to add. Brandy, you have anything you'd like to add?
A couple things, just really quick. Doug, under the Plan Commission piece of removal of members or notification or whatever, is there a certain code site that covers that? Because when I do my research under New Powell Commission, it doesn't outline the process for that. It just outlines who's on it, whatnot. By the way, it says we meet on the third Tuesday of the month at 7, so we should probably fix that. But,
Dale's mentioned that before.
okay, thanks, Dale.
Is
I
it
got you.
On our website, or where
Yeah,
does it
it's
say
under
that?
chapter 24, 24.01, under D, regular meetings, third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. and as necessary. So I thought maybe we should tweak that.
We've been meeting as necessary.
Yeah. So we might should tweak Tuesday at 7, but yeah.
So you're looking at the
Mhm.
the New Powell
Yeah.
code,
Mhm.
the removal pieces in the Indiana statute.
Right.
Which I mentioned. We need
Yeah.
to kind of make sure that those go together.
Yeah. Okay.
I just had it up. I can pull it up here.
Yeah, because I pulled something up, but it's, like 50,000 pages long, and you're our attorney, so I
Yeah,
thought.
it is long.
I'm going to defer. I'm just curious myself, yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
36.
Mm-hmm.
That's the title, Article 7, Chapter 4, Section 218.
218, okay. All right. Commission changes, okay. Thank you. It's just good to know for reference.
Sure.
And then one more thing I'd like to revisit, because I do this every year, and usually I'm met with frowns and groans, but I shall do so again. I'd really like to see recycling. I knew it was going to happen in town, or a resource, but the closest place now to recycle anything other than paper could result in your car hitting a pothole and never getting out. And so I'm just kind of bringing it up again. I know McCourtsville does it, many other communities do it to provide at the town level a resource for recycling for folks in the community where cameras could be pointed to evaluate any trash violators. But I'd just like to see us discuss it again or consider it because I know it's something and we would be environmentally friendly and trying to help out our community and teach our children a good lesson. So I just want to bring it up again.
Okay.
I don't know if we can get quotes or there's even any interest in getting quotes to provide that, but I'd like to revisit it.
We can.
No.
Solar panels.
You know, I'm thinking you're,
Get rid of most anything, Lions Club, plastic, metal, paper.
well, the Lions Club is supposed to be, in good citizen way, cardboard and paper only. So that's kind of there's no place else to recycle those other things, so sometimes people take liberties. Although I think a toilet is never an acceptable recyclable thing, but I saw it once in a school recycle bin. So, you know, I'm just putting it out there.
I know last time I went up to Washington Street, which is probably what you're referring to.
Maybe.
Yeah, where the decks used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I had to, interact with the homeless guy for about 10, 15 minutes.
He's always there.
You learn
He's
anything,
interesting to
Chris?
talk to.
Yeah,
Did you learn anything?
yeah, I did. I don't know if I want to share it with you.
My concern is the damage that could be done to vehicles by, I mean, you know,
Looks like the surface of the moon there.
right. So anyway, I'm just a big proponent of it. I'd love to see us maybe just explore a quote or an idea and, you know, it's kind of where I'm at,
I could try to get a couple bids on that.
just to
Try to
see.
get some people interested.
Okay.
Then we
So,
have
yeah,
to figure out location.
see what it would cost and if it makes sense.
Possibly even the school with the kids,
Mhm, yeah. I know the high school still has the one yellow bin,
Yeah.
but there used to be one at NPE, and I just noticed today that one's gone, so they may be cutting down on there, but,
Pack their lunch and send the trash with them.
Sugar Creek has plastic.
they do? For public use? I know that one big blue one is cardboard.
They got a yellow right there. There's like three of them over there. That's where our town wastewater balls go.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
Well,
So
I'd
again,
still love to
Let's see what it
explore it.
costs and
Yeah.
then we'll
Okay.
evaluate that
Okay,
versus
thank
driving
you.
to Sugar Creek.
Mhm.
I get all the general emails, the general questions that come through the website.
Mhm.
And there's somewhat regularly
Yeah.
a question about what the recycling options.
Yeah, and I've had people ask me too, yeah.
Just
Well,
wanna-
And I don't know who picks up my trash, but every other Wednesday, we have yellow topped containers that they pick up recycling every other week. So, there is an option. I don't know what it costs. I'm not in charge of that.
It changes every 3
I'm
months.
not
Yeah, it
allowed to be in
does.
charge of that.
Changes every
It
3
does.
months. Just wait 5 minutes.
Okay. So if you're really adamant about the
Yeah, I know.
environment, there are
I know.
vehicles, Randy.
I know. I got
Okay.
you.
All right. Anything else, Brandy?
That's it, thank you.
Thank you. Angie, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I do. I would like to add a comment in regards to the planning commission and having Mike Jackson step down and appointing yourself. On March 2nd, we had a planning meeting, and on that planning meeting, it went over 16 minutes and 32 seconds. On the audio marker of that meeting of 1 hour and 43 seconds, you could hear you tell Ron Wally, when Ron Wally was ready to call the meeting because we were at time, you told him to keep going. And after that marker of where you told Ron Wally to keep going, we had, it was I believe the CFO of Tharp, Matthews, presented for Tharp. And what he was presenting was he was wanting to take a residential property or a commercial property and break it down into 3 separate properties. And that was on, Lot 5 was divided into 3 commercial lots, 5, 6, and 7, with 7 being green space only. And then there was 2 additional lots that were created, lots 8 and 9, to add to the commercial center. And so Ron Wally had to go past the 7 o'clock hour, which was when the council meeting was supposed to be meeting, 16 extra minutes and 32 seconds in order for Matt to present that. But when Matt was presenting, at one point, Bill took over and explained it to the planning commission meeting from a planning commission seat. Now, when it came to a vote, Bill did abstain from that vote, and you can hear that at the 1 hour, 14 minutes and 43 second marker of the audio recording. It's just that it's a perceived conflict in that situation, and the fact that there was the authority to push the meeting over 16 minutes without consulting anybody on that board, and then to have the town council start 20 minutes later without asking anything and making that judgment call on the planning commission board. I think that there is a perceived conflict of Bill taking a seat again on the planning commission board. And I just want to make sure that that gets noted as this comes about, as to removing Mark Jackson and putting Bill back onto the planning commission board.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
We need now my favorite part of the agenda this evening to consider claim numbers 24-218 through 24-250 as presented in your backup materials. So why don't we first get a motion on the table, and if there's a second, then we can open it up for discussion regarding any specific claims.
I made a motion, we approve claims number 24-218 to 24-250.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded twice. So at this point, it's open for discussion. Are there any questions or comments regarding any individual claims as presented in your backup materials? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, and claim number 24-218 through 24-250 are approved. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
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 We are adjourned.